What's going on, Jerome? So your Minnesota Vikings absolutely cooked the first night of the NFL draft, securing J.J. McCarthy as well as Chip Burner, Dallas Turner. For me, the number one edge rusher in the draft. Shut up, Star Trek Insurrection. But your Vikings still have Cinco selections day 3. Now, they don't have any day 2, but we're still going to run a 7-round Vikings mock draft because why the hell not at this point? So let's see how the Vikings do the rest of the way. Also, a couple surprises. I mean, Cooper DeJean just hanging out. JPJ makes it to round 2. Lab McConkey hanging out. Kingsley, some people saw him as a first-round pick. Some people don't. Ooh. All right, so we are completely out of focus here. If only I was some sort of professional, but I'm not. Alas. All right, so the Vikings back on the clock at 108. Just recapping the picks. So the Vikings have a 4th rounder, 108, as well as 2 6th and 2 7th rounders, 177, 203, and then 230 and 232. And yes, I mean the Vikings. The Vikings are sort of gutted in terms of 2025 draft picks, but guess what? Do not care. Basically, you gave up next year's 2, 3, 4 to make sure that you landed J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner. I'm fine with that. And the fact that Kwesi held on to the first-round pick, which we talked about all offseason long, would be huge, monstrous. Also, Vikings will be fine. F those picks. All right, so now we're sitting here chilling. So, I mean, the Vikings should go BPA the rest of the way. And as we said, I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go here. So Cameron Kitchen's just chilling. I know. Dominic Pooney, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, Hunter Newsrad would be fantastic along the offensive line. Jerrion Jones, I think, is super underrated. Blake Watson, they've done a lot of work on. Brennan Jackson is our guy, too. So a lot of ways that this could go. Tavondre Sweat just chilling. I think that he's going to have a draft day tumble as well. I mean, I wouldn't be mad with Estime either. But in this spot, Tanner Bortolini is there too. Taj Washington, Chris Abrams-Drain. I mean, Wingo. Woo. There's a lot of ways that the Vikings could go in this spot. I would consider trading, but just for this exercise, let's just stick in picks. So, yes, I mean, the Vikings do have other needs, but I'm all about getting the best player on the board. And sometimes it's fun when need syncs up with best player available. And given the board, I do think that Hunter Newsrad is the best player available here. And yes, he does play interior offensive line, and yes, that is a major need for the Vikings. But just in terms of a grittiness, in terms of a guy who's going to get after it on the inside, a guy that could and should eventually replace Bradbury, just plays with a chip, just plays with the edge as well. Newsrad, I love. I absolutely love and adore Newsrad in this spot. So the Vikings do get themselves some interior offensive line help at 108. Now 2 6, 2 7s, pure BPA the rest of the way. That's the way to go. This is how, Trevor Wallace sitting there chilling. Kamal Haddon, Cody Schrader. Rushing champ is there. Torrey Taylor. I mean, should we? I mean, just because we can doesn't mean that we should necessarily. Grayson Murphy, Miles Cole. If one just continue to hammer down on the edge. Isaac Warrendo, physical freak running back. I mean, there's a lot of ways that the Vikings could go here. Logan Lee is still sitting there chilling. I mean, what do you do? Michael Barrett, I think, is underrated. Or Sheena Lee. Trey Taylor is a heat-seeking missile on the back end. Dylan Laub is, of course, that guy. McKinley Jackson, if we want to nose. Man, so here's what happens, too. I mean, just because, PFF has them in this order doesn't mean that that's how we necessarily or the team has them in order. So I know it's not the sexiest pick in the world, but in terms of who's available on the board, McKinley Jackson is the best player for me. And it does sync up with, hey, the Vikings need some interior defensive line help, especially a guy who's going to shore up the run as well as has some upside as a pass rusher. So McKinley Jackson, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo, I am for real. I mean, do we just take Torrey Taylor now? God, it'd be so freaking funny. Trey Taylor's a monster, though. I mean, so I do want Dylan Love. Well, who's here for running backs? Because at a certain point, like, I'm pretty even on a number of the players that are left. It really is, what style of a running back do you want? And I feel like Loeb can be an absolute game changer on the back. James Williams there, with the Vikings, because all right. So here's the thing: like Dylan Loeb, he could be a receiver, he could be in the slot, he could be a scat back, he could do everything, and also he comes in as a prime return man too. So I feel like it's too much value. And yes, I love me some Trey Taylor, but it is what it is. Dylan Loeb, the pride of Strong Island, coming from New Hampshire. I kind of like it, man. So the rest of the way, I mean, Cam Little just there chilling. Ryan turned down for Watts is there. Nathaniel Watson is there. Co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year with Dallas Turner, by the way. Devo is there. Leary. Man, this is so fun. Donovan Jennings, I love. Frank Crum, super athletic, physical freak upside there. Swing tackle. And let's go. All right, so in this spot, I am going to take Ryan Watts. So for all the reasons people love Kyrie Jackson of Oregon, long, lengthy, a little bit raw. I mean, Watts is certainly that guy too. And here's the thing, like Watts got unfairly said that he got cooked in the semifinal against Penix in Washington. I thought Watts' coverage was actually good. Just Penix and Adunze and McMillan were just on one. There's nothing you can do in that spot. And so, I mean, we could take Cam Little. But we'll see if we can get him as a UDFA. But we are going to take Frank Crum, this uber athletic swing tackle from Wyoming, as another offensive line project. So I'm pretty friggin' happy with how this turned out. And of course, it's my mock draft, so I should be pretty happy with myself. That's how I usually am. Anyways, see what Kwesi. I mean, I'm so happy for Kwesi. I know that he's gotten so much heat and a lot of criticism from the haters and the losers. Some of it fair, some of it not. But I don't understand how you could be upset with landing a quarterback of the future who is a perfect fit for what Kevin O'Connell wants to do on offense. And now I could say, oh, he's quarterback 5. This is such an anomaly of a quarterback class. I mean, so QB 5 in this draft went number 10 overall. QB 5 last year was Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round. QB 5 in 2022 was Bailey Zappi in the 4th round. So you think that J.J. McCarthy, the number 10 pick, is on the same level as Hendon Hooker and Bailey Zappi just because they're quarterback 5? No, shut up. No. So Dallas Turner, a true talisman on the edge. I love it. But the rest of the way, so 5 picks. Hunter Newsrad is going to I think that he would come in and compete for one of the guard spots immediately, and then I think that he would take over for Bradbury long time at center. Just, he's a dog. I love dogged and determined interior offensive lineman. McKinley Jackson from Texas A&M immediately comes in as a run-stuffing nose tackle, also has some upside as a pass rusher. Dylan Loeb. Let's get creative. I mean, Kevin O'Connell, so you have Aaron Jones, you have Ty Chandler, but Dylan Loeb is going to be the ultimate, like, wild card, gadgety type player, right? So you could put him in the slot, you could put him out wide, you could have him receiving out of the backfield. He's a very adept pass blocker as well, plus he's a plus return man. I mean, that's beautiful. I love it. Ryan turned down for Watts, long, lengthy cornerback on the outside, a project for Flores and Durante Jones and company, and then Frank Crum. So, I mean, you're going to resign Darisaw, hopefully. O'Neal is starting to age out a little bit, and you don't really have that young swing tackle project, and Frank Crum is going to be it. I mean, full-on physical freak coming from the Wyoming Cowboys. Kind of like it. Kind of love it, man. So, that's it. That's day... Well, we don't have picks day 2, but 7-round Vikings mock draft after day 1. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.